The Rhode Island Comic Con!
Welcome to the 2014 Rhode Island Comic Con. My name is David Ciccariella. We're going to take a look inside the Rhode Island Comic Con, talk to special guests, people dressed in costume, and see some amazing things. Let's go. I am so honored to be talking to Nichelle Nichols, Uhura from the original Star Trek. Now, one of my favorite stories, if you could just tell me, I know you've told this story a lot, but I love the story about Martin Luther King talking to you. Could you please tell me that?
Well, I was at a banquet, and we were part of the guests, the honorary guests, and someone came over to me and said, Dr. King wants to meet you. And I said, I thought you'd never get here because I want to meet him. The entire banquet, shut up talking. You wouldn't hear any dishes or anything. And all I could see is people going like, trying to hear what we were saying. And we both speak softly when we want to, And so we became friends after that, but during this time, he was telling me why I was important to not only our race, but to the whole humankind, and so forth. And I said, well, I was thinking about leaving the show because I'm going to, and I never got to Broadway. And he said, I never got that far because he said, you can't. And I said, and I almost said, what you talking about, Dr. Martin Luther King? But I didn't. I just was dumbfounded. I said, for what reason? And he said, because that's an indulgence of your talent and what you're applying to now, and that turns people in a right direction. It's more effective if you do it than a lot of people because you're known as the communications officer of the world. And I went, boy, I've tried to keep a straight face, but my knees buckled, And I said, how do you, so he says, I've heard you speak. You talk about what it means to be an American, really, and what it means to be a woman in America, what it means why you should be an American if you live here, and so forth. And he says, I have never seen anyone get that across in such a way that you're absolutely proud to be an American just listening to you. And there are young people out there listening to you every day, every word you say. And it's not only you talking to them, it is Lieutenant Uhura. And I was thinking, my God, it's one thing to be a guest actor, performer on a one show or one shot thing, but to be cast as suddenly Lieutenant Uhura, who they asked me what they were trying to think of a name for her, and I named her.
Thank you so much for sharing with me and being here at the Rhode Island Comic Con.
It's my honor, and it's a special honor to be at the Comic Con. It's brought a tremendous value to my life.
I'm so happy to hear that. And but thank you so much again.
I thank you, and I thank all of you out there.
I'm so honored to be sitting with Walter Koenig, Chekhov, in the original Star Trek. Now, I know you came in during the second season. Was it difficult for you because all the cast already knew each other from the first season?
No, it wasn't difficult at all. Everybody was very cordial and friendly and amicable and generous with their time, and it felt very comfortable.
In Star Trek 4, the use of comedy with you and the mistaken identity, was it really fun to play that scene?
It was very much fun to play that scene. I love doing comedy. I've had very infrequent opportunities to do so. So I love the scene with the FBI man, and I love the scene out on the street looking for the nuclear vessels. And no, that was the highlight of my Star Trek career.
What I think was great about the original Star Trek show was it did have a little bit of humor to it, and so it appealed to everyone.
It's true. It's true. Curiously, Gene Roddenberry didn't want the show to be humorous.
Ah.
He dissuaded people from writing comedy. As it turns out, The Trouble with Tribbles was written when he was out of town.
Ah.
And by the time we were doing the films, he was not as involved as he had been.
During the original Star Trek, you had the communicators, but now you have all this technology like iPhones. Is that interesting to see how technology's changed so rapidly and getting close to the technology on Star Trek?
Yeah, sure, it's interesting. I think it would have happened eventually in any case. I'm not a technical maven. I don't really, I really have a hard time turning on and off my phone, and finding out who's on the other end. That kind of thing never thrilled me, but I certainly appreciate the technological advances, some of which were inspired by the Star Trek television series.
I'm now with Bobby Clark, who played the Gorn in the original Star Trek. And now playing the Gorn, putting on that heavy suit, how much did that weigh?
Weight-wise, I have no idea, because when I got it on, it was distributed evenly through my whole body. But probably 35, 40 pounds.
And was it hard to see through the eye holes?
That was a little difficult, yes.
That fight scene that you had with William Shatner, Captain Kirk, how long did that take to rehearse?
Rehearsal? Not long on my part. We had to rehearse the fight. And when I walked down the rocks and walked through that stuff there, so that's all in pieces. So not a long time. We worked on it for a couple of days.
It must feel so good that you played such an iconic character, and now like 40 years later, people are still talking about it.
Definitely, it's awesome. It just amazes me every time I do a convention.
And now you're also in the episode Mirror Mirror,
Yeah.
and it looks like your fate you didn't end up too well on that episode.
No, I got shot.
Can you show that photo of you? It's fantastic.
Mirror, mirror, I got shot in the elevator by Chekhov. I was one of his henchmen, but they didn't like me.
I'm now with Katrina Law, Nyssa from Arrow. You did an awesome job in that last episode that just aired. How did you get the role of Nyssa? Did you audition?
I did audition. I originally auditioned for Arrow for the part of Shadow, and I'm pretty sure it came down between Selena and I. And Selena, of course, is amazing. But I think one of the deciding factors was they didn't want two Spartacus characters in the same scenes together. So a year later, I come back in for, apparently, I think my part, the part was called like Lena or something. So I auditioned, and then I get booked, and then the TV guide announced that I was playing Nyssa Al Ghul, and that's how I found out what my character was, and that's how it happened.
Now Nyssa in the comic books, there's not too much backstory to go with because most people know the other daughter, Talia, right? So did you do much research for Nyssa?
I did. I'm very fortunate to have some friends that are huge into the podcast world, and all they do are like the comic book stuff. So as soon as they found out what character I was, they did this research and just sent me essays about Nyssa. And being how she's only in 19 comics, there wasn't that much about her, but there's a lot of information about her family and her sister and her dad. So finding out about the Al Ghul family has been interesting.
And now in the last episode of Arrow, we just saw Ra's al Ghul. Without spoiling it, how is that relationship gonna lead? need?
Well, Nissa is very loyal to her daddy, so she loves her daddy very much. It's a little bit of a fear-based whatever, but she respects him. So whatever he says goes. So we'll see what daddy ends up saying.
And you put on an accent because you're originally from New Jersey, right? And you put on an accent for Nissa. Did they tell you to put on that accent, or how did that work?
I had auditioned for another role on the Tomorrow People, and I came in with an accent for that role. And they basically said, "Can you please audition for this role? Do the same accent." And I did, but then I also found out that Nissa is half Russian, half whatever her father is. And so I also gave them an option of a Russian accent, but I think it made her sound too evil. So we ended up going with like the semi-British sort of kinda accent.
So now I'm standing with Joe, and he brought Kit from the Knight Rider TV show. And as you can tell, here's the star of Knight Rider right behind me. He doesn't feel too much like talking right now, but that's David Hasselhoff. He looks pretty good, just a little stiff. But we'll let that slide for today. So let's talk about Kit. Of course, you brought it, and why did you bring it to the Rhode Island Comic-Con?
Mainly because I love seeing the smiles that it brings. The smiles and the memories. I mean, you get some grown adults who will sit in that car and instantly become a kid again. It's the best part about it. I had a man yesterday who was actually getting very teary-eyed because it brought back memories of him as a child watching the show with his grandfather. So if I can do that for people and bring back those memories, I'm happy to do it.
So you made the car yourself?
Absolutely. It took me about 2.5 years. I did everything you see here.
So this is pretty accurate how it looked on the show, right?
Yeah, this is a very close replica to what you saw on the TV show. As a matter of fact, it's got functions to it. For instance, if you want to turn on the dash, just say the words "Kit activate."
Kit activate. Whoa. Did you? Okay. Anything else?
Plenty of things. For instance, look above you. There's an orange and blue switch. You can go ahead and turn those two switches on.
Okay, so I'm going to turn on the orange and blue switch above me.
All right, that'll give you that console, and then turn on the one right next to it, which will give you the lower console.
Wow.
What I can do is I can talk to the car. There's a microphone up here. So I can say something like, Kit, give me a clip of what we see on TV. And watch the monitor there. It should do something. See that?
Wow. So he said, show something on TV, and it's playing the opening of Knight Rider.
That's right. I can say about 80 different things to the car, and it'll respond back with things like that.
Give me something else so I can do it.
I can tell it to, it's going to be hard to hear from in here, but I can say something like, Kit, introduce yourself. And let's see if it'll respond. So you can barely hear it, but it said, how are you?
Now, exactly. So what he did was he said, Kit, introduce yourself, and it was William Daniels, the voice of Kit.
Right, it is Mr. Feeney's voice. Everyone knows him from Mr. Feeney.
I know him from The Graduate, but and Boy Meets World, of course.
Right.
And I'm just showing my geek colors here. But no, this is amazing. So what does some of these lights and stuff mean?
All of these gauges work. Yeah. So like right here, these would be my turn signals. You have my odometer, my speed. Right here, Kit had different modes that he'd drive in, normal, auto, and pursuit. If you want to switch through those, you see that white switch on the bottom right down there.
White switch, yep.
On the bottom right, down a little bit. Right here.
Right there.
There you go.
Okay.
Rock that back and forth. There you go. See how you're switching the modes of Kit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over here is my engine temperature, my RPMs, my batteries. All the things I need to drive are right here.
Fantastic. Pursuit.
Specific to Kit, I think your fans might enjoy this. See these buttons here on the left? Mm-hmm. Kit was known for doing a lot of special effects. So what I can do with this car, there's a fire button down here. Now what I've set up is a CO2 system. If I push that button and open up the tank in the back, I can fire CO2 gas out of the front to put fires out. And that's something Kit would have done in the TV show.
Well, hold on a minute. You told me, I mean, not right now because we're at a Comic-Con, but if this was outside, you could have smoke coming out of the...
I can have CO2 gas come right out of the front, just like a fire extinguisher. It would come straight out, and that's one of the things Kit used to do in the TV show. There's also the second one up. I've installed a rocket system in the back. So I can actually fire a rocket from the back of this car, and it'll go out about 50 feet, another thing that Kit used to do.
What does Knight Rider mean to you?
Knight Rider, one of the things that they always said in the show was one man can make a difference, right? So what I've actually started is something called the Make a Difference campaign, where I go anywhere I can to bring smiles to people's faces, bring memories back.
And if people want to contact you and find out more about Kit and about your organization, where would they go?
On Facebook, there's a page for Kit. He's got his own Facebook page. He's with the modern technology now. You can just look under the name Notchback K.I.T.T. It's actually spelled right up there on the banner. And when you go up to that Notchback K.I.T.T. name, you'll see our page.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. And unfortunately, I'm not going to drive off, but I wish I could, because I would love listening to Mr. Feeney all day.
All right, turbo boost out of here too.
All right.
Nice. Now, if you want to turn off the dash, just say the words "K.I.T.T. deactivate."
K.I.T.T. deactivate. Wow. I'm now here with John Wesley Shipp, the Flash, the iconic superhero, the Flash. How are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's great. You know, people are friendly. I love these cons. You get to meet fans. You get to hear ideas, what people like, what they don't like, you know, feel appreciated, feel like, you know, you're not acting in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Makes it all worth it. They are the reason for the season, so.
A couple years back, you were the voice of the Reverse Flash in Batman Brave and the Bold. Can you talk about that experience?
It was wild, yeah. I've been Barry, I've been myself, I've been my own worst enemy, and now I'm my dad. So, I mean, it's cool. I love the franchise, and they've been very good to me. Warner Brothers, they had asked me to come do that, and it was a year I was taking off from acting, actually, 2009, but they were so kind to ask me to do it, and I was happy. I was happy to voice that. It was a new experience because, you know, when I act, I want to turn and act with the person, but when you're acting on mic, I was turning to talk to people, and they go, "Cut, okay, Shipp, could you please keep on mic?" You know, so we had to work it out, but I think it turned out okay.
You did an awesome job. Final question.
Yes.
You're back on the new Flash TV show, as like you said, Flash is dead.
Yes, I am. Flash Daddy.
Let's talk about that experience.
I love the character I'm playing. That's number one. I mean, I would have been happy to do a little nod if they had wanted that, but Jeff Johns so enriched, gave such depth to the Allen family with being wrongly convicted of killing my wife in front of Barry when he was 10. So there's so much meat there that I'm not really thinking about him being Barry, except in the context of him being my son. And he's such a wonderful actor and a terrific guy, you know. That's why when people say, who would win in a race? I'm like, you think I'm going to bet against my own son? I'm not going to do that.
Now I'm here with Jill, and you're Captain Cold. What inspired you to dress like Captain Cold?
Well, Captain Cold is one of my favorite villains, and the Flash is one of my favorite heroes, and you never really see anyone dressed as Captain Cold. Like, I don't think I've ever seen another Captain Cold cosplayer.
Captain Cold just showed up on the new Flash TV show. How did you enjoy that?
I thought it was really well done. I'm very happy with the Flash show so far, because I was kind of disappointed with Arrow. When the Captain Cold premiered, it was really well done. I thought they did it very well. I was very happy they're kind of sort of sticking with his original costume with the hood and not going to the new 52. And I was very happy with it, and after that happened, I was like, I have to dress as Captain Cold for the weekend.
You must have been stopped by even more people, because now they recognize the character even more.
Yep, actually walking around here, I've had a lot of people be like, oh my God, it's Captain Cold!
I'm standing with Eddie McClintock from Warehouse 13.
That's what they tell me.
The great beloved show. What I liked about Warehouse 13 was the blend of humor and adventure to the show. It must have been great to play some of those great funny moments on Warehouse 13.
Well, yeah, I never knew what I was going to be doing on the show from week to week. You know, one week I'm trapped inside Micah's body, and the next week I'm, you know, have traveled back in time, and so it was always fun to come to work and see what where Warehouse was going to take us.
Did you have a favorite episode or villain?
I would say my favorite episode was the telenovela episode, the Spanish-speaking episode. It reminded me a lot of old school, you know, Tim Conway, Carol Burnett, Mel Brooks. I'm a big Mel Brooks fan, and Carol Burnett, and like I Love Lucy, you know, because it was so over the top. My favorite villain, I would have to say H.G. Wells, because I got to make out with her, him, her, it. H.G. Wells.
She was great.
Yeah.
And you guys really worked well. I mean, the whole cast worked well with her.
Indeed. Yeah, Jamie Murray, she's great. So.
Now, could you show one of these T-shirts here?
Yeah.
You did the T-shirts, correct?
I do. I was an art major in college before I got my degree in business communications, whatever that means. When Warehouse became successful, my wife was like, you should start your art back up. So I designed all these t-shirts, and I still do my art. I sell my art online. And
Finally, what are you currently working on?
I have a new show that I did a guest spot on called Backstrom. It's Rainn Wilson from The Office. It's his new show, created by Hart Hanson, who created Bones. That'll be out in January, I think. So, other than that, I'm just, doing time.
Warehouse 13 had a lot of great comedy in it, humor.
Yeah.
That must have been really fun to play.
No, it was a real drag. Because normally of course it was fun. We're doing, get the hell away from me. Of course we were just cracking up. We had the kind of show where you had to be able to walk a tightrope between suspense mostly.
How you doing?
Mostly what happened was that this idiot here would get in the middle of these shots.
That's Mr. Idiot.
Yeah. 6 years of college to get here.
That's right. I crammed 4 years into 6.
Yeah. That's the way he is.
That's how I go.
And also, he likes to get into other people's shots.
Now I'm standing with Jimmy, and what did you bring today?
I brought the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. vehicle from the TV show. It is a mock-up version of it, but I drew it for the fans and made by the fans.
So you have the inside and outside decorated?
Yes, I do. I have a center console that's going to be set up for mostly lights that are going to be mounted on top. I have custom seats that were done by a friend of mine that she took almost 2.5 months to do them. She did the fronts and the back. Custom seats. Friend of mine helped me out. He helped me install the lights. I have deck lights above my windshield, and I got deck lights above my rear window. The paint job was done by a friend of my father. He helped me out. I did all the prepping and sanding of it. He did all the painting. And then the decals were done by a company called Bowman Signs located in Milford, Connecticut. He did all the decals for me, and he placed them in a matter of 2 hours.
You can tell he's so dedicated, Jimmy's so dedicated to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show because he's decked out as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
What do you have there? Just pouches and...
Mostly what it is, it's a full tactical gear, tactical vest with a tactical jacket with the patches. I have a tactical assault holster that my manager kind of told me that if you set it up just right, it's going to be the most annoying feeling you'll have on your leg for hours. So I was like, I must have set it up right because today it's been bothering me all day. So, but knee pads, basic gear that a tactical agent would have. There is stuff that's still missing, like a tactical helmet. I do have a regular toy pistol. I don't have the toy rifle with me because I didn't have enough time to pick it up. I ended up just finally finding out that Walmart had them for a pretty cheap price.
Well, to be honest, it looks great though. Even the stuff you said you are missing, you still look fantastic. Final question, is there a place that people can contact you if they're interested in the van?
Yes, you could find us on Facebook. It's called S.H.I.E.L.D. Truck 1, the number 1, not the word. And look for us on Facebook right now. It's just starting out.
Now I'm with Seth Gilliam and from The Walking Dead. Now, why do you think the zombie franchise is so popular? Just not with The Walking Dead, but all the other movies and films.
I think people have a lot of rage, and being able to take it out on something that's not going to really feel any pain is, I think, kind of exciting for people. So, you just imagine yourself surrounded by zombies, you just let things go, let it fly, work out all the rage, and then you're happy. I think it works. I think it's a universal theme.
Early on in your career, you were on The Cosby Show. How was working with Mr. Bill Cosby?
Mr. Bill Cosby was a lovely man. It was great. It was great. He took care of us all like we were his kids. He was really cool. I miss Bill Cosby from time to time.
Great. And how are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm having a blast here at the Rhode Island Comic Con. These 3 young ladies have been instrumental in keeping everybody at bay, making me look good, and keeping things flowing. It's been great.
I'm now with Reb Brown, Captain America from the 1970s. Would you like to talk about your guest shot on Happy Days?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got on that. I played Rebel Lee, and it was Requiem for a Mouth. And I had a lot of fun in that. And you know, the crew and everybody were really friendly. All the guys, and they were spectacular. I mean, as far as just good people, it was like a little family, and they had a good time. And I had when we did the show originally, when I picked up Ralph, he put his feet on my thighs, okay? But when we got to do the show, actually, my adrenaline ran, and I just picked him up and put him on the wall. And after we did the scene, he goes, "Reb, you held me there for 10 minutes." I said, "Hey, what can I say?" It was a good time. I had a good time with it.
Now, of course, a lot of the stuff that was in your Captain America movies are still true to in Captain America today. To today's Cap, he rides a motorcycle and things like that. It must be a great legacy to look back at your Captain America to see the influences of today's Cap.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a pure hero. Captain America is nothing dark about it at all. It's all about the good things. That's one of the reasons I love it so much. It's a good thing to have as far as somebody to look up to, and the kids love it. And it's nice to see that they're getting, you got a whole new audience now because of the fact that it's on again, and then they see me. And in fact, when the first one came out and they had the Sci-Fi channel and they were showing it all the time, the little kids in the neighborhood said, "Can you really jump that high?" And I said, "Not anymore." But I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I just want to show. Look who's waiting. Look who's at your line. This.
How are you?
Look at that. I just want to show this. Spider-Man and Firestar are going up to Captain America.
That's right. Well, superheroes have to stick together.
Now I'm standing with William Katt. Now, what does being a hero mean to you?
I think a hero can be anybody that's important to your life, that's kind of holds the torch up and makes you better than who you are.
You've done some voice work in recent years. You voiced Hawkman in Batman Brave and the Bold. How was that experience?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I'd worked for them before doing some other things, and Hawkman was kind of the last venture over there that I did. In recent years, but I'm expecting something will come along. I think there's a new Hawkman movie coming out, so I might have lost my job.
Well, they should put you in a guest spot, cameo spot in the movie.
There you go.
And what are you currently working on?
I have 2 films coming out. One's called The Unwanted, and one is called The Subterranean, and that should be out in 2015.
I'm now standing with Jackson Boswick, Captain Marvel, Shazam, from the 1970s TV show. It must feel great that people are coming up to you years later for a character you played in the 70s.
Well, don't forget they were kids then too.
Right.
Just like I was a kid when Clayton Moore was playing the Lone Ranger. Doesn't matter, the character's still there.
Now recently in the comic books, they changed Captain Marvel, they changed his outfit, they changed his name. Now he only goes by Shazam, and they totally redesigned the character. How do you feel about that?
Well, they took an iconic figure and they bastardized it, which is absolutely ridiculous to do. Why would you do something like that? They got him with a Gucci boots on, got a hoodie for a cape, demonic eyes, as I said before, that they, when the Shazam chose Billy Batson, it was because he was pure of heart to become Captain Marvel. Well, this guy is no more the alter ego, because that's what Captain Marvel is, the alter ego of Billy Batson. This guy is the alter ego of Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, he's absolutely demonic. And I understand it's just not going over real well. I hope they don't do anything with it. But why would you change an iconic character like that? What are they going to call the old wizard, Shazam Senior now? How is Freddie Freeman going to turn to Captain Marvel Jr.? He can't say his name of his hero because that's Captain Marvel. It's going to ruin everything. I mean, it totally unbalances the great little character that they had with Captain Marvel. It's just, I don't know why it's like these people, you give them the Mona Lisa and they've got to put their crayon mark on it. Why?
I also like how you have your D'Amigo action figure on your table. Nice touch. I like
Well,
that.
somebody gave me that. Notice he doesn't have a cape, doesn't have his boots. That's fine. Well, I've got several of them in a box back home.
Great.
And I just, I keep it out there just for fun.
What happened to the original Captain Marvel outfit?
Well, I've got it. I've got the original boots and the cape and everything, the one that I always used to wear. I think there was a couple outfits. I don't know which one they had John put in because I had a 30-inch waist and a 48.5-inch chest. And I remember they had to put the belt around him and they had to put rubber bands and tape it across his back. He'd go running through the field and sometimes the guys on the crew would come tell me about what would happen. And the belt would flop down in between his legs. But John's a good guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, but he's no more Captain Marvel than I am Wonder Woman.
I'm standing with the lovely and beautiful and talented Alaina Huffman. One of my favorite roles was Black Canary on Smallville. Did you do a lot of research into that character before when you got cast?
I did. In fact, at first they told me that they wouldn't tell me what the character was. It was sort of a blind audition. I auditioned more as the Dinah character, and then when they cast me, they said it's going to be this really big character, and she's a huge DC character, but they didn't really tell me who she was. And then I was like, well, how am I supposed to prepare? And so then they told me who she was, and I was not familiar with Black Canary, so of course I Googled her, and I picked up a bunch of comics and done a lot of my research that way.
Now, I know you came in on season 7, a guest shot in one episode, but then you must have been so happy to come back in the future seasons.
Yeah, it was great. They sort of, would bring in the whole Justice League in the openers or the mid seasons or the closers, and that's kind of what I did. I would have liked to have done more. I think that there could have been a nice storyline, with her. I think that's where they were going with it. And then I was cast on Stargate, and they were sharing me for a little bit, but it was fun while it lasted.
And now I'm standing with
Chris from the New England Brethren of Pirates.
Now, what do you have for the people today?
We're doing charity. We're trying to raise money for Make-A-Wish and for multiple sclerosis. So we can put you in the cage if you like.
Put me in the cage. Let's put me in the cage to see what happens. Because I'm no stranger to pirates. I got to go around here, and
Step right in the middle there.
Step right in the middle. Uh-oh. Yeah. Let's go wide, cameraman. Oh, jeez. I can say I've never been in a cage before. I feel a little dizzy. What type of people end up in here?
People that have been bad, or children that parents want to get rid of, or adults that children want to get rid of.
Now, this cage would be hung up way up on the ship, correct?
Yes, and it'd be much smaller. It'd be for like one person, and it'd be much more uncomfortable, but we built this to hold about 7 or 8 adults. I think you can fit close to 1,000 pounds in it.
7 to 8 people can fit here. Wow, that would be very cramped.
Yes, it is.
And then you have these...
Yep, shackles for prisoners.
Shackles, yep.
Yep.
Anybody who's bad really has to wear the shackles. Now, this is really cool. I'm going to be fighting him in a pirate duel. This is going to be crazy. So tell me what do we do? Come here, let's check this out.
It's very simple.
Let's show the camera. Yeah, what we have.
We got these 2 con-friendly swords here, and me and him are going to get up on the plank here at opposite ends.
Anyway, keep going.
And basically 3 hits and you're out, or if you fall off the plank, you're out.
3 hits where?
Body, legs, whatever. Just don't hit in the face and the groin.
Remember, kids, never hit in the groin or the face. Words to live by.
Ready?
Let's go. And that's why he's wearing the mask and the cool pirate outfit, and that's why I look like Guy Smiley. You see that? That's I lost like that.
That's right, you did well for a news reporter.
I shouldn't feel that bad, because look at the pirate, look at how much he won, and look how much land what?
Landlubbers just don't stand a chance.
And now I'm speaking with
Megan.
Megan, that's a good pirate name.
Well, my pirate name is Lucy Blackheart.
Or Lucy Blackheart, she'll take either. So what game do you have for us?
This is Escape the Gallows. What you basically do, it's pretty simple, but it's got some strategy to it. You're going to take this, and you're going to try and get it on that hook right there, and you get 5 tries to do it.
Okay.
And it has been done. He's done it. I've done it. I'm not good at it, but
The Pirates did it. Hopefully I can do it. All right, here we go.
that's one.
That's one. Okay, so I kind of judge the difference here. Okay, here we go.
2.
I think this game's a trick. That's all I'm saying. I'm kidding. Oh, getting closer. 3.
2 more tries.
2 more tries, and then I'm out. Oh. One more.
One more.
Jeez. Oh, close but no cigar.
You got robbed.
I got robbed. Darn it. What's this over here?
This is the Kraken.
Kraken. Show me the Kraken. So this is the Kraken here. Look at him with the teeth and everything.
This is Feed the Kraken, which is using the cannon to shoot balls into the Kraken's mouth.
Shoot balls in the Kraken's mouth. I would like to shoot some balls in the Kraken's mouth. I thought I would never say that, by the way. But anyway, this is great for everyone. Okay, he has to put the balls into the cannon here. I like this. This is really cool. And then we're gonna aim.
Don't aim too low.
Don't aim too low.
And then push the button on the top to fire the cannon.
Great. Okay, a little bit to the right. Oh.
Close.
Close. Well, I got the gist of it. I think it's very cool. But what I'm looking at is, it looks like what I didn't know was pirates actually bowled back in the olden days. I did not know that. That was very interesting. So tell me about pirate bowling.
Oh, similar to, I guess, a New England bowling or candle pin bowling. You have 3 balls to throw at the pins and see how many you can knock down.
Great. That's a very simple explanation. Okay, so here we go. My cameraman would have got a strike with that first shot, so just telling you.
This event we're doing the Make-A-Wish Foundation and MSAA for multiple sclerosis. And then at Super Mega Fest we're also doing a Toys for Tots run.
So he was showing something earlier. Now for winners and losers, we get branded.
Yes. Historically, when you were, there were 2 types of ways to become a pirate. You either volunteered or you were pressed gang, which basically means you were captured, then they said, you're sailing with us. And you would then swear an oath to sail against all flags and loyalty to the ship and the captain, and you would receive this brand. Or someone in the East India Company or the Royal Navy would give this to you as a punishment.
So here we go.
And here it comes, and...
Ah! Oh, jeez. I'm now with Brian O'Halloran, Dante from Clerks. How are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
Oh, it's a huge con here. I mean, so big. I mean, you got such great guests on this list that it's like 5 cons rolled up into one.
I love the friendship between Dante and Randall. As an actor, since time goes on between the movies, around 9 years between Clerks 1 and 2, do you as an actor think about where their friendships are since it's not written on the page?
Well, at the time, I mean, we had done a bunch of episodes of other films that had bits and pieces of Dante Randall. And they made an appearance in Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back. They make appearance, obviously, there's reference to in Mallrats. And we had the cartoon that went on. So when we were doing the cartoon especially, there was this development of a relationship. But working with Jeff Anderson, who plays Randall, it's such weird kind of innate chemistry that we have. Even though he's been living on the West Coast for many, many years. I still live in the East Coast. And even though we don't see each other or correspond a lot over the years, when we get together, literally within an hour with Kevin's dialogue, it's easy to work it.
Why do you think Dante stays friends with Randall? Because Randall's not the most nicest friend to Dante.
Friendships can never be explained like, well, I'll only be friends with people who are cool. There are people who I love to death who drive me insane. But, when you go through the battles of going through things together, that's how they are. And you know what? It's a great, cosmic type of thing that they got.
Now, I love the cartoon. You mentioned the cartoon. Would you love to come back to voice Dante in the another cartoon?
Oh God, we were so heartbroken when that project got canceled to begin with. So yes, we would love to do it. I always joke with Kevin. I said, look, when we get to the point where we physically are so hideous to be put on actual camera video footage, we could still use our voices to make the cartoon. So who knows? We have plans for shooting. Kevin just announced 2 days ago that confirmed that we're going to start shooting Clerks 3 in June of 2015. So who knows after the release of that if it gets picked up and people like to have that idea of doing the cartoon again, maybe we can get some producer to get it started again.
One question about Clerks 3. Does the movie take place pretty much in the quick stop this time?
Well, as you know from Clerks 2, the store we end up buying the store. As a matter of fact, my silent partner here of the owner of the store, if you remember Clerks, they put up the money for us or help us put up the money. He's a rich guy, but we made sure he was a silent partner.
Right, well,
we would run the thing, but he would just invest.
Right.
So once we have that money, the new one takes place not far after that.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Well, again, it's an honor. I love Dante and Randall and Clerks, so thank you so much for being here at the Rhode Island Comic Con and talking to me.
Not at all, my friend.
And thanks, Bob. Now I'm standing with Scott Schaffo from Clerks. Now, how did you get the part in Clerks?
It was an audition, and that's a common, I guess, I don't say misbelief or mystery about the film over the years. A lot of people thought that everybody in the film was either a friend of Kevin's or maybe a relative or whatnot. But I know Brian O'Halloran, Dante, Marilyn Gigliotti, Veronica, Lisa Spoonhour, Caitlin, myself. We auditioned, we didn't know Kevin personally at the time. And because I lived an hour and a half away from those guys too. I'm in northern New Jersey, they're south, southern New Jersey. Saw the ad for the audition in the paper up in my area. Something like young filmmaker explores the day in the life of a convenience store clerk, and I thought this sounds really awesome. Back then there weren't a lot of guys shooting films in New Jersey. The indie scene isn't like what it is today with the digital cameras as well. Not a lot of guys were doing things in New Jersey. I said, I got to get to this audition. So I did. Luckily, he liked my first audition, called us back to read from the script, and then boom. Thankfully the rest is history, as they say.
Now, how long did it take to shoot your part?
We did the Chuli's Gum Guy stuff. That was one full day, if memory serves. There was a day or two of rehearsals that I went down for, because he did rehearse the stuff, which is cool. You don't always get a lot of that. But then a full day of shooting. He shot that scene at least 2 or 3 full times, and if you remember, it's one long take. There's no edits, So it was like almost shot like a little piece of theater, And it was awesome. He had the crowd going nuts. Walt Flanagan was adding a bunch of really cool stuff. We had so much fun, so much energy. It was just exciting.
You recently showed up on Comic Book Men. How was that experience?
It was awesome to see everybody again in the same place. I hadn't seen Jason Mewes in a long, long time. And, seeing Brian, Ernie O'Donnell, Rick Derris, and then all the comic book men all in one place, and then we were all at the Asbury Park Lanes bowling. Awesome, it's so much fun.
Awesome. And now what are you currently working on?
I had a book come out in 2012 called Vicious Dogs Attack Me in Sleepless Nights of Summer. It's a collection of short poems and short stories that were written back in the late 80s, early 90s, during the time I was involved in Clerks. I had a pretty nasty alcohol and drug problem during those years, so the tone of the material is of, say, a Charlie Bukowski type ilk. But we're doing the audio book next year, and Brian O'Halloran's going to read. Marilyn Gigliotti's reading some of the pieces. Got a couple of guys from the rock band The Misfits going to read. You can keep on track with me either Facebook or on my website. And so that's like the most new thing that's going to be happening next year.
And what's the website?
ScottSchaffo.com. You get me at Scott Schaffo Facebook, Twitter, Scott Schaffo. It's all just my name.
Okay.
I run all of my own stuff.
I'm now with David Fielding, who was Zordon in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. How are you enjoying being at the Rhode Island Comic Con?
I love it. It's fantastic.
So how did you get the role of Zordon?
I had just recently moved out to Los Angeles in the summer of '92, and had only been there for like a month and a half when a friend of mine who worked at Saban called me up and said, hey, they're auditioning for this kid's pilot for this TV show that they're thinking about doing. They had me stand up on a table, and I read the lines, and Austin St. John said, well, I think we found our Zordon, and then I got a phone call and said you got the part, and I went down and filmed. So
Now your role was as a big giant head on a screen.
Correct.
Did you act with the other actors?
the day that they filmed me, the actors were there, and they read lines back and forth with me at the time, yeah.
And they modified your voice as well?
They did run it through a modifier, and when I would go into the studio to record voices for the episodes, they would apply those filters, so it kept the voice consistent. Yeah.
It must be interesting to see yourself as that character.
It's very cool, and the fact that there's a Zordon action figure just makes me giddy beyond belief. I think that's awesome.
And what do you think the legacy of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are?
I think that the one thing that I'm very grateful for is that the show was a very positive influence for a lot of people. It did teach kids, the value of teamwork, sticking up for your friends, being a friend when you needed one, and has just stuck with people over the years. And I think that's what I'm most proud of.
Now I'm here with. Pineapple the Clown.
Oh, in the flesh, yes.
So you've worked with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I have. I've worked with them and tried to destroy them.
It didn't work out too well, did it?
Oh, fine. So I had a hard time, okay? They brought it, and there's 5 against me. 5 against 1.
I know the Power Rangers are your enemy, but do you have a favorite?
Let's see. Yeah, kind of partial to the Pink Ranger, you know what I'm saying there? Black Ranger is good, hey, Red Ranger, we've had a few meals, okay, so I can't complain.
What made you become a clown?
It has to be a disguise when you're a giant pine octopus, which is kind of embarrassing, if you know what I mean. So you have to have some sort of disguise, and Rita assigned me to a clown at a circus.
But you have to make the kids laugh, though.
Oh, yeah, make them laugh and make them cry and make them turn into cardboard. Ooh, yeah. I don't know why that's such a thrilling power.
We should see you come back and destroy the new Power Rangers.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I'd like to destroy them. They'd look a lot more weak than the ones I was up against.
Right, well, thank you so much, Pineapples.
Oh, don't mention it to anyone.
I'm now with Terry Carter from Battlestar Galactica, the original series. And now you were originally a news reporter for WBZ?
A long time ago, yes.
How did you go from being a reporter to going into acting?
Well, I was an actor first, actually. I had done a lot of stuff in Hollywood, and I was on Broadway. I started in a Broadway musical. Westinghouse Broadcasting was looking for someone to be the first black TV news anchor in the world, and they asked me if I were interested. And I actually had done some journalism in college, and so I figured I'd give it a try. We did a screen test, and I wrote some stories, and they liked me. So I got the job. I went up to Boston. 1965 through 68 I was there, and it was a very interesting experience. Very unusual, very different from anything I ever knew.
Now going into Battlestar Galactica, and now looking back on it so many years later, do you believe that it has such a legacy and fan base?
Well, I'm very impressed. I mean, I enjoyed the show, but of course I'm in the show. But to meet so many people who love the show and remember the show, it's very gratifying. It's so nice.
It must be a great feeling having the kids coming up to you that have seen you on DVD and watched you on TV as well.
Yeah, a new generation seems to have discovered it through DVD. Right. Because, as you know, the show was 35 years ago, and it was a pleasure. It was an unusual experience.
And what are you currently working on?
Well, I'm in New York, and I'm a filmmaker now, and so I've been doing documentaries. I've got a website, and I'm selling documentaries and things like that.
So now I'm here with Bo, and you brought the Mystery Machine from Scooby Doo.
Right. Yeah, we run a Great Dane Rescue, so we're up here with the Mystery Machine trying to raise money for the dogs.
Great. And did you make the Mystery Machine?
Oh yeah, I've done just about all the work myself on it, and it's still a work in progress. Every year it's a little bit different.
And you even have Scooby Doo himself hanging out the window of the Mystery Machine.
Yeah, some friends of mine found him for me a few years back, so he's been going all over the country with us ever since.
So you have a lot of Scooby Doo merchandise here that goes to what again?
We run a Great Dane Rescue, so all of our proceeds go to help that.
So when you drive around in the Mystery Machine, What's the reactions you get?
Oh Lord, it's crazy. People about run into us trying to take pictures going down the road. I mean, we've had people try to cut us off in traffic and stop us, and I mean, people come up beating on the windows at stop signs. It's a life.
And you know, if people are unaware, you are dressed like Fred from Scooby Doo. We want to make sure that's clear, right?
Yes, yeah. Fred's the driver, so I got to be Fred.
That's right. You got to be Fred. And so, if people want to find out more about the Mystery Machine or about your organization, where would they go?
They can go to mysteryinc.com. That's MYST, the number 3, RYINC.com. And everything about our Great Dane Rescue is on there.
I am standing with two bad guys. I'm lucky I didn't get right now, but they're really tough. Robin's your enemy.
Yes, sure.
And you guys sound very similar, you and Robin.
Yes, it's just a coincidence.
And Black Manta, I know you have a vengeful hate for Aquaman. Have you seen him around?
Why'd you have to go and mention his name? Why'd you have to go and mention the guy's name?
Well,
I'm having a good time here at the convention, and you gotta come around here and mention the guy's name? I haven't seen the guy all day. And now you gotta mention his name. That's awesome.
Well, you know, I was just making sure. It must be really tough to see out of that outfit.
It's a little warm. It's a little tough to see out of it. That's why I spend 99.9% of the time in the water. But sometimes, you gotta get a burger.
Are you in the part of the costume contest?
I am.
Well, you know what, Black Manta, you have a really good chance. He has his breathing apparatus. Because remember, Black Manta, you're human. You're human that goes under the sea, so you need to actually breathe.
I do.
Great. And you have this, right? And you have that wonderful trident.
That belonged to the guy that we're not going to talk about.
Right. Exactly. Well, thank you, Red X, and thank you, Black Manta.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the comic books. And now I'm here with
Crimson Bolt
and
Bolty.
What brings you guys to the Rhode Island Comic Con today?
A little bit of everything. We're giant nerds ourselves, so this is where we feel at home.
I couldn't tell. Now, did you make the costumes yourself?
Yes, we did everything. Ripped things apart, sewed them back together, glued, bolted, everything, yeah.
What inspired you to dress like those characters today?
It's an excellent movie, one of James Gunn's best movies, next to Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, and just something we always wanted to do together.
Have you dressed up in other outfits?
Last night we did Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph, so that was fun.
I'm so happy to be sitting with Christy Romano from one of my all-time favorite shows, Even Stevens. Now, on Even Stevens, you worked with actors like Jim Wise, Donna Pescow, Tom Virtue, who had a background in comedy, those folks. What did you learn from them while working on Even Stevens?
Well, I have to say that was one of the best questions that anyone has asked me about Even Stevens. Usually it's, do you still talk to Shia? Which I don't, really. I would say that I've learned a lot about timing from Donna Pescow. Jim Wise was a writer on our show, and his comedy, really, really is funny. He's almost like, he wrote for Mad TV, and so he has really good punchlines. So on Even Stevens, I think it was helpful to have those punchlines because I would play off of Shia. Shia was sort of the zany one, and I was what you call the straight man. So it was interesting to be the straight man. But I think what was great about Even Stevens was that I could kind of still be kind of crazy too. So that was fun.
Rin had her neurotic tendencies following Bobby Deaver in season 2. What's interesting about Even Stevens is that was a single camera show, comedy. Most of the Disney shows are, multi-camera in front of an audience, right? Yeah. How do you feel acting between the two?
If it's a job, then I'm good with it. I mean, I have no problem whether it's sitcom or single camera. I think certain shows deserve to have certain types of, ways in which they're made. So like our show would not have worked as a sitcom. But I would love to do sitcom work. I've done it before and I don't have a problem with it.
You also, on Even Stevens, you worked with Phyllis Diller.
Oh yeah.
How was that experience?
Well, Phyllis Diller was fantastic. I got to do a whole storyline with her. And she played my teacher, and I was a track star, and she was so ridiculous. And her wig was just out of control. And I saw that she passed, was it last year?
Yeah.
And it was pretty sad because I remember her just being, one of the greats, and it was really fun to have to, be exposed to people like that.
I feel there's not too many comedies now that both kids, I watched Even Stevens with my dad. He loved it. And there's not too many comedies now that really both parents and children and adults can watch together.
I like to think that Modern Family, but I think that Modern Family is still kind of adult. Like some of the jokes are a little adult, but it is really awesome. I like that show. I think that's similar to what Even Stevens had. It was similar to Modern Family.
Finally, could you talk a little bit about your own production company and working on movies in Connecticut?
Well, I haven't really been working in Connecticut. I worked in Poconos this last summer, and then that wrapped, and that was awesome to be able to work, locally again. And then the summer before that, I did co-produce a film called Prism that will be probably at film festivals this year. Like, actually maybe more like in 2015. So, I don't know, working in Connecticut's great. It's my home state. I love it. It would be awesome to do it more. It's just, tax credits. You go where the tax credits are when it comes to independent filmmaking.
I'm now with Samantha Newark, Gem from the very iconic cartoon from the 1980s. And it's the big anniversary year, right?
It's coming up next year. It's going to be the 30th anniversary because I was like less than 0 when I did Gem. Yeah.
And can you believe it's still going strong to this day?
I know, it's incredible. It's never gone away, and getting to meet the fans face to face, and they turn into like little 8-year-olds. It's precious. It's amazing.
And there's a lot of upcoming Gem projects in the works, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hasbro finally attained the rights. There was problematic for many years, but now there's a live-action feature film coming out next year, October 23rd, and there's a new comic book coming out in April, and a new doll line, beautiful dolls by Integrity and Hasbro. So yeah, Gem is back.
Now you're also a musical artist. What type of music do you play, and where can we find that information?
Well, thank you. I'm a singer-songwriter. I have been for many years, and you can find my music on iTunes, Samantha Newark, or my website. Coming up with a new album, 2015.
I'm now here with Johnny Ruckus from the Ghostbusters of New Hampshire. And what did you bring to the con today?
I brought it all, baby. I got the Ecto, I got Vigo, I got the best gear in the world.
The Ecto one, you designed it yourself, put it together yourself, or?
I did it with the rest of my guys that I do the team with.
Now you went up a couple of years ago to New York and saw the fire station?
Yeah, we did. We drove the car up, pulled it in there, got a bunch of photos. It was awesome. It's so cool to actually get to see the building itself.
Now you have the power pack, like you said.
Yeah.
You made that yourself?
Yep. Yeah, we build all of our own props.
Great. And now you guys, I know you guys come to a lot of these cons. Do you have a charity you guys support?
Depends on the time of the year, depends on who asks us, but our favorite's always doing stuff for Make-A-Wish. We really love doing stuff for that.
Great. And how many, you have a lot of Ghostbusters here. How do one becomes a Ghostbuster of New Hampshire?
Blood, sweat, tears, and a lot of crying, and money.
Now I'm here with Jennifer, and you brought the bull here today to Rhode Island Comic Con. How did you manage to bring it, and what happened?
We were at the Bro Show a few months ago, and Steve Perry contacted us and asked us what we had for rides. We brought the laser tag, the Rockwell, and the mechanical bull.
Wow, and it must be a big hit.
It's a big hit. We love to get people off, on the bull that is.
So they have 3 tries, and then they can win a prize or something?
3 tries, and if they can last a long time on a high speed, they can win an MP3 player, or if you're a little kid, a figurine of some sort.
Now, do you mind if I just try it once?
I would love to watch this.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to try on the bull. And I've seen a lot of people do this. I'm not looking forward to it. And the bull's right here. I'm going to put down my microphone, and it's not going to end well. Open it. I'm now standing with Gigi Edgley from Fire Escape. How long did that makeup take to get on you every day?
It took 3.5 hours every day for over 5 years, from anywhere from 12 to 16-hour days. It was pretty extensive, but I would do it again in a heartbeat because I love working with the Jim Henson Company and I love the Sci-Fi Channel. And I was very blessed recently because they asked me to come and host the Jim Henson's Creature Shot Challenge, which was so fantastic.
With the Jim Henson puppets, I'm sure those actors are so amazing that you forget they're puppets.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're made so meticulously that you look into their eyes and you can absolutely, you just know that there's a soul that exists within that creature. They're absolutely stunning, and that's what is so magical about the Henson Company. You look at, Muppets like Kermit the Frog, that's literally, a very simple structure with eyes that don't move, but you fall into the world of the Muppets and you live and breathe and adore them and you cry with them and you celebrate with them because they move your absolute soul, so it's very special to be part of that world.
Fire Escape has a very much a cult following. I mean, it was popular, but it keeps growing and growing in popularity. You must be so happy to see all your fans here.
Oh, it's been amazing. Today has been absolutely awesome, and it's really exciting because I love conventions. I love sharing proper interactions and connections with the fans because these are people that have supported and looked after me my whole entire journey. And I was actually explaining to my mum that I believe that some of the fans may actually know me better than some of my family members, which is a little spooky, but totally correct because they've watched me from the age of 15 to 37 next week, my whole, life, and they've helped me every step of the way. And it's very cool for me because I get to come to these conventions and share new things, new creations that I've made specifically for them. And at the moment, we're working on this little doozy, which is called Hashtag. And it's this awesome script that I absolutely adore. It's a short film that we want to enter into Sundance and Cannes. And the story is about this girl who's trapped in this make-believe world of modern technology, the world of being an online celebrity and being completely engrossed in Twitter and social media and Facebook and in that kind of zone. And it's got a really intriguing, troubling undertone as well. So that's pretty cool. And I also record music, write comic books as well. Wow. So it's all there. If you want to follow me, you can check me out at gigiedgley.com, and my Twitter and my Facebook links are both there. And I post everything about the conventions, new projects, my whole life pretty much.
Now I'm sitting with Gerald Holm, and you played a lot of different characters in Star Wars.
I played two characters in Return of the Jedi. I played Squidhead, as he was called in 1982 when we filmed. They gave him the name Tessek about 17 years later. And I also played Mon Calamari Officer. This is me, Mon Calamari Officer, with Admiral Akbar. One of my bosses, my other boss, was Jabba the Hutt.
Now, how did you start filming additional scenes in Return of the Jedi?
Yes. Now, we were actually credited in the film as mime artists because we had to bring these costumes to life. So we had to know how to use our bodies instead of just standing there like lemons, Mime artists use their bodies, but don't speak. But the producers decided there was a hole in the plot in scenes, the Battle of Endor, at the end of Return of the Jedi. So they decided to film some additional scenes with a speaking Mon Calamari. I auditioned, I got the part, so I found myself going home one night with 2 pages of additional dialogue scenes to learn, which we filmed the next day. They didn't work because my mouth wasn't articulated for speech. But what's important for Star Wars fans to know is that one of my lines was, "Sir, the shield around the Death Star has lost power." That's a pretty important plot line, element from Return of the Jedi. So if someone doesn't say it, there's a hole in the plot. And the way they covered this up was they have someone saying, "The shield is down." It's a very famous line from ROTJ, "The shield is down." But if you look at the film, everybody thinks maybe Akbar said that, or maybe someone else said it. It's a voice off.
Is it cool to see action figures of the characters you portrayed?
I love my action figures, so let me show you this. Me and my mini-me's.
Nice.
Okay.
Camera, yeah.
So here you've got the original vintage Squidhead, which is one of the favorite action figures because the The cape was made of cloth. The skirt was made of cloth. And then these are the modern ones. I think these came out in 1999. The first one is the Mon Calamari Officer and the updated Tessek. Now called Tessek. Squidhead has got a name, Tessek. And both gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful figures. However, we could do with an update.
So now I'm here with Patrick Shea, and he brought the DeLorean from the Back to the Future car. And I know you brought it here last year, but what's new for this year?
So this year, we've added a few elements to the display. One of them, as you can see, is this lightning rod, which replicates the one that was used in part 1 in the climactic scene at the end. We also have the lightning box, which was made by Bruce Coulomb down in Florida. And we have the cable, of course, and the light posts. And not that you can see it now, we have a nice new DVD player with a backup camera, which comes in very handy because there is no back window.
This is frightening to say the least. I'm standing next to Christopher Lloyd. You actually froze him and brought him here today.
Yeah, he was cryogenically frozen, and we brought him along, and he's a real stiff, but, you know, he gets the job done.
Exactly. But how do they make something like that?
We actually had a professional prop maker do this in silicone, and he used, of course, many stills of Christopher Lloyd, and took his time and did a great job for us, and we're very, very happy with the results.
Any props new, or is pretty much?
It's same old in the prop world here. We haven't added anything, but it's still pretty darn cool.
So Marty, how is it working with a guy like Doc Brown?
He's an interesting character, a lot of excitement, and it makes me stay out of trouble. So,
where did you just travel from?
I came from 1985, and I just got here with Doc.
Has technology changed a lot?
Oh yeah, I have an iPhone right now.
Thanks, Marty. For more information about the DeLorean, where would people go?
We have a website. It's www.88mphtimemachine.com. That keeps us updated, or keeps people updated with the events that we attend. Always has new pictures of the car, and also has pictures of our Marty's truck restoration process, which actually is completed now. If you go there, there's a link to Facebook, and you can see Marty's truck that was used in parts 2 and 3 that we now own and is fully restored. So there's a lot of cool pictures of that.
I'm honored to be sitting with Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor in Doctor Who.
I am.
Now, I love the two doctors. When you were acting with the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, could you talk about working with Pat?
There he is. That's me and Patrick back in 1984, something like that. Yeah, I mean, he was the guy who did the hard job, the first regeneration. So without Patrick, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking to someone in a crowded hall that I've never met before in my life.
Awesome. And you were in the 5 reboot
5-inch Doctor's reboot.
Thank you. And how was that? That must have been a fun experience.
Yeah, that was Peter Davison's idea. He was the 5th Doctor. And he realized that he and I and Sylvester were not going to be invited to be in the 50th anniversary TV special. So we wrote and filmed our own, thanks to Peter Davison. And I think it was very funny. I enjoyed watching it, and I enjoyed even more doing it.
You are still playing the Sixth Doctor in the Big Finish audios. That must be really fun doing those.
Well, do you know, first of all, I am still the Doctor, because I never regenerated. All the other Doctors regenerated. I didn't. Sylvester McCoy hid in my clothes for a while, but I wasn't there. Therefore, I am still the Doctor. On television as well as on audio, where I'm delighted to say the Sixth Doctor's audios now outnumber anybody else's. So my Doctor may not have had a full chance on television, but I've been very lucky. It's 30 years since I played Doctor Who, and here I am talking to strangers in a strange land.
I'm now here with the Sixth Doctor. And what's your first name?
My name is Mark.
Mark, and you know, Colin Baker's here today, the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah.
What did he think of you when you dressed up like this today?
Well, the first thing he noticed was the hair. There are at least 2 other Six cosplayers who visited him before, and he's noticed the hair, and he's like, "The hair is fake," and I'm like, "Shucks, I thought I could fool you." But it was really interesting. We didn't really interact until his Q&A panel, when he started talking about the costume and everything, and me and the other 2 Six cosplayers stood up sort of to fly the flag. so to speak. We were like the most enthusiastic fans.
Well, Colin Baker has said earlier about his outfit, he didn't have to look at it. I'm the one wearing it. How do you feel about that?
Personally, I love this outfit. I know he does not. Like when he mentioned again at the Q&A, but he's said this for a while, what he wanted for an outfit was closer to what Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor, got. And but I love it. That's one of the selling points for this Doctor, is that he wears this coat, the character, and he doesn't care what other people think.
I'm standing with Morgan, and you're dressed as the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. And why did you pick the 11th Doctor to dress as today?
I think that he is one of the most fun, vibrant characters of the show. And so I thought that to bring out that sort of personality would be an amazing experience to go to something like this for the first time.
Oh, so this is your first Comic-Con?
Yes, it is.
How are you enjoying it so far?
I love it. I'm meeting so many interesting people and so many fun, amazing things, and I just think it's a wonderful experience.
I'm standing with Indiana Jones. What do we have here today?
We're helping doing Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we love coming to the show. So you can see we got everything set up from the first movie, and of course it's the idol. We do the idol swap here, and here, I'm gonna hit this guy with the whip. There we go. We do the idol swap. We get people to come up, and they're in the movie. You know. And,
I feel like I'm in the movie right now.
Okay.
Ready?
So you did you get the? Okay, good.
Okay. I'm gonna. I have to switch it now. We have an audience watching, so I can't
There's
be
a
screwed
lot
up.
of people watching. Don't mess it up. Oh, good.
I'm now here with William Forsythe, wonderful, great actor William Forsythe. Earlier in your career, you were in the movie Once Upon a Time in America with
sir.
Robert De Niro, directed by Sergio Leone.
It was the spoiling experience of a lifetime. He's the greatest director I've ever worked with. He had the greatest eye, maybe in movie history. Meticulous, would never do anything unless it was perfect. And, he was a legend, an incredible guy, and, working, at that stage of my life to work with Robert De Niro, James Woods, Treat Williams, and a cast like that, it was absolutely amazing.
Also, early on in your career, you were in Chips, a TV show.
I was.
And how was that experience?
Incredible. I got to cut a punk rock song, got to go on stage. Actually, we filmed it at the Starwood, which at one point I had worked. I used to have a job. Well, I was a doorman, but one of the things I did is I would slam dance in the pit with the punks, and whenever they would grab a girl and start to beat her up or something, I would slam over and free her. And when I ended up doing the part in Chips, the guys that I used to throw out of the Troubadour when I did that job ended up being the extras. So if you ever get to see it again and you see those beer cans coming at my head, they were pretty real.
Now, final question. You often play the villain, but now a lot of actors take the approach of that the villain doesn't think he's a villain. They think he's misunderstood. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know about misunderstood. How can anybody, play anything like that? You don't judge your own characters. Okay. You just have to figure out who the character is, take a good look at the script, see what they have to say, and then you create your part. It's who could be a villain in their own mind.
I'm now with Cary Haraguchi Tagawa.
Yes.
Close enough? Close?
Yeah.
Close and no cigar?
We won't take your soul, no.
Thank you.
You're good.
I really enjoyed your performance in Mortal Kombat. Can you talk about that experience?
It was a pain in the bottom.
Really?
It was one of the roughest challenges to make a movie I've ever been in. We shot in warehouses, we shot in airplane hangars, we had to wait for planes to land and take off. It was really a challenge. We were up against a film called Don Juan DeMarco that the studio was producing at the same time, and they were counting on that film to be huge. As Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp, we took them out.
Mortal Kombat has a great cult following, and now it's more popular than ever.
It is, and the game certainly is pumping the movie. I'm just very glad that I was in the first movie.
Right.
I thoroughly... I'm not in love with the second movie.
Right.
And the third movie would only do if there was something massively great about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you were in License to Kill, a James Bond film. How was that experience?
exactly opposite.
Okay, good.
Everything was at such a high level, and went to the royal premiere in London. Almost met Prince Charles and Diana, but yeah, it was very, very different. Happy to be. You know, there's one thing in this industry, you're very lucky to show up in franchise kind of movies, and that, of course, is one of the biggest franchises in Hollywood. So I was very fortunate.
And you were lucky to be in one of the only 2 Timothy Dalton films of James Bond.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't see him as 007. Maybe a 004. Sean Connery will always be the Bond for me. The new guy actually has the essence of what, after having read the books by Ian Fleming.
Thank you so much for being here at the Rhode Island Comic Con.
Thanks. And thanks to all the people of Rhode Island. Really wonderful being here. Thanks for the welcome. Thanks for being real people instead of from Hollywood or California.
I'm now sitting with Stephen Williams from 21 Jump Street and a lot of other great shows. X-Files,
Supernatural, Link.
It must be great to be a positive role model to people growing up.
I wouldn't know that I was a positive role model to people growing up. I think there were some images of me on television that could be considered a positive role model for a lot of young people in America and all the world.
How was it working with Johnny Depp all those years ago?
It was just like working with anybody else. You know, the most interesting thing about that first year was how was it working with Stephen Williams. Everybody should ask Johnny Depp that. You know,
They should.
Johnny's just an actor, just as I was an actor. He is now a huge, huge star. Doesn't make him that much of a better actor or me that much of a lesser actor. We're just 2 actors doing a job.
The Blues Brothers experience for you?
The Blues Brothers experience for me was incredible because it was one of the first films that I'd done, and for me to be on the set with all of those incredibly, famous people, and then all the stars that came to visit the famous people that were in the movie. So it was an exciting time. It was a very exciting time. And again, being new and during an era that was a very exciting time for us young people,
Very experimental time in cinema.
Very experimental time. Yes, very experimental time.
How are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm enjoying this tremendously. This show Supernatural has given me, and shows like X-Files, has given me, I don't know what to call it, whether it's credibility or that, but I'm being invited on these things more, and it's fabulous. It's fabulous. To meet these people, to meet all the people who come here. The fans are just an incredible breed of people. I so much appreciate all of the support that they have given me, and I'm sure all the rest of the actors and the performers here, no matter what their ilk, enjoy the hell out of these folks.
I can tell you were at the Halloween party. It seemed like you were having a blast.
Oh, no, I was having a ball. I don't come outside unless I'm having fun. And that's what this is about. This is about communication. This is about interaction. This is about having fun with the folks who sustain us.
So I'm here with the V Group, and what brings you to Rhode Island Comic Con today?
They invited us, which is wonderful.
And what do you have for folks
We
today?
are spreading our message of universal friendship and our love of V, actually.
Oh, nice. So now, where'd you get these outfits?
We make everything you see. Everything that we're wearing, our props, everything is all made by us.
What made you what made you like V in the first place? What really attracted you to the show?
Well, a lot of us grew up with the show. We loved it ever since we were kids, growing up with it. And through the years, as we reconnected with people and go into cons and we see Star Trek and Star Wars, we're like, what about V? A show we love. It hasn't been done. Let's do it. Because nobody else is doing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me and being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for your interest.
Now I'm here with WWE Hall of Famer, Animal from the Legion of Doom. How are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
Oh man, it's always great to be back here in the East Coast where it's nice and cold and rainy. No, but I'm only kidding, man. Comic Con's a great event. You got a lot of great superstars here, and it's a good place to come and see the fans,
And you bring your armor here too.
Yeah, I got my spiked shoulder pads. That's the greatest thing about these Comic Cons that the fans really should come out and see. They get to wear the gear that we wore in the ring and take photos, and it's a good opportunity because a lot of times you can't get that close to our things,
How'd you get teamed up with Hawk?
Well, Hawk and I have known each other since we were about 10 years old, and we actually went to wrestling camp together, and a promoter came in, actually Ole Anderson, who used to run Georgia Championship Wrestling. So I want to put you guys together and call you the Road Warriors, and that was pretty much it.
It's like the tag teams nowadays just don't stack up to how you and Hawk were.
Well, man, tag team wrestling is an art, and I think they're finding it out in pro wrestling. You just can't throw two guys together and call them a team. I mean, Hawk and I knew each other from childhood. I knew his pluses and minuses, and he knew mine, and we knew how to carry that over into the ring. And besides that, we could talk on the mic, too. We could do interviews real well, so that helped us out as well, you know.
Did you have a favorite adversary?
You know, I liked wrestling the Four Horsemen. Okay. Ric Flair and, you know, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, Lex Luger, they were fun to wrestle.
I'm now here with professional wrestler, an awesome wrestler, one of my favorites, Rob Van Dam. Now, you were in TNA for many years. Now you're back in the WWE. How do you feel being back in the WWE?
Dude, it's great to be back at the top, and that's not a slam against TNA. I really enjoyed my time there. But when I say the top, everyone, including TNA, knows WWE is the standard setter. That's the top of the game with, by any standard you use, you know, the exposure, the amount of the fans, and that's what I'm about. It's connecting with the fans when I'm in the ring. All the storyline bull crap and all that, you know, I only take as much as I have to of that. I just want to get in the ring and show off and absorb all that love. So when I went back to WWE and I looked around those huge arenas where there's like 3 levels of thousands and thousands of people, I was like, TNA was cool, but I'm glad to be back.
Now, how did you start out? How did you end up in the WWE originally?
Well, I started out wrestling the traditional fashion. I paid a tuition to go to a school 100 years ago in the original Sheik, not the Iron Sheik, the original Sheik. Trained me in Lansing, Michigan. Broke me into the business with no guarantees. And hey, I got ahead. I tried to always stand out. Tried to shine every night so the fans would remember me, even if I wasn't famous yet when I started out. So I tried to make up for that with my moves in the ring, and I did pretty well. WWE didn't come along until '97 when I was with ECW. I did a Invasion. I wrestled Jeff Hardy one night, a young Bon Jovi-looking Jeff Hardy. That led to a little angle that lasted a few weeks with ECW being on WWF's television, as it was called back then. That was a part-time deal, worked out for a little bit, then it wasn't working out so much, so we left. 2001, I went back, and by that time, I was very well established, and it was just like the door was already open for me.
You designed the outfit, some of your outfits, right?
I designed some of them, but to be honest, very few of them. My artist, Joe Holland, which you can look on YouTube, and you can, if you go to The Real RVD, that's my YouTube page, you can find the videos of him airbrushing, and we tell his story. It's been done a few times. Almost always it's him. You know, I give him some info. Hey, I want some yin-yangs and some dragons, but once in a while, I'll have an idea like, dude, I want a Deadpool replica. I want the outfit. You know, sometimes that happens, but more often than not, I open up a package. I got a new outfit. Let's see what it is. Oh, sweet. Which, by the way, fans can follow me on Tweet Secret. That's my fan club, and I enjoyed exposing the outfits there first before people saw it on TV.
Well, that was the Rhode Island Comic-Con 2014, and as you can tell, it was a huge success. More people than ever attended the convention. Well, we talked to some great people, and I had a blast, and I hope you did too. And if you missed it, please come next year. They'll love to have you. My name is David Ciccariella. Thanks for watching.